All right, welcome, folks. Mil Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be your live sit rep coming to you at 6:30 p.m. Central Time from the great state of Texas. It's going to be October 18th, 2021, and man, after a short, brief vacation, we are back at it. And so, without further ado, let's go, Brandon. Up over here to our main board, and here it is. Right now we're sitting at about 169 up currently. And let's see here. Going to be Air Force 2 is probably the biggest thing on our screen right now, headed back from, looks like Vegas. Headed back to, looks like the Brown Zone over in Senior Living Center. A lot of congestion here. Like we got a lot of trainers up, a lot of stuff going on here as well. One thing I did want to tell you guys while I have your attention, we keep getting somebody in the troll that is acting as me over in YouTube. So just want to let you know, and I think they are on WhatsApp or something along those lines. I would never in a million years, one, I'm not on WhatsApp, but two, if you see something like that, just report it. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to take advantage of others. And so just wanted to point that out. So if you see that, just report it, please, okay? Because I'm not doing that. I would never be in the chats asking for anything, okay? All right, now, that said, we're back over here to the main board, and this, it's been kind of an interesting week. I did see some activity over the weekend up over the White House relative to probably some fighter activity. So we seem to be on a heightened state of alert for a reason. I think a lot of things are in play right now relative to supply chain, to our border, and China. It's definitely going to be pushing some buttons here. So, but I just wanted to point that out, that I did see some activity over the weekend. We also had a couple E6s, one off the East Coast, which is a Airborne Command Center, and one down here off the Gulf running some routes. That was over the weekend. Don't see E6s out over water very often, at least in the Gulf of Mexico. We do see them up here on the East Coast, but not very often down here in the Gulf. So I thought that was interesting. Just want to point that out. Looks like things are still kind of status quo. We do have a lot of tankers up right now doing air refueling, and looks like things have chilled out a little. We were up a little under 400 today early on, but now, again, we're down to about 170. Okay. All right, let's hop over here real fast and take a quick gander at the volcanic activity. Now, this map has changed since this morning. We had 11 active volcanoes earlier this morning. We had one popping off down here in the Philippines, and then we had the one in Japan. Then we had these, of course, going also. So looks like things have settled down over here on this end of the Ring of Fire. La Palma is still just going gangbusters, and so that doesn't seem to be letting down anytime soon. So we'll keep our eye on it. And then over here, let's get over here to Flashbang Schedule. It looks like for today, not too much going on. Looks like we've got starts kicking a little Candy Crush at about 10 a.m. We got Peppermint Patty at 1, which is her standard. And then it looks like he is making an unscheduled visit to the State of National Teachers of the Year ceremony. Boy, I bet they're excited to see him roll in there. Huh? I know I would have been, but okay. All right, so there is that. Now, I want to point out a couple things. We are going to talk a little bit about UFOs, and I'm just going to kind of talk about not the alien side of it, although I do have a theory on all of that. We are going to talk a little bit about UFOs here in a minute, because I've been getting a lot of email traffic from folks all over the world, really, talking about sightings of UFOs. And so I want to touch on that, but we're going to talk a little more about the border and what's been going on. Now, of course, we did just have this pop into the news today, which is going to be this kidnapping where these missionaries were kidnapped in Haiti. This, folks, is what's coming to our border, all right? When you just keep implementing people from these countries that have this lifestyle, and it's just kind of, they're not all bad, but there are bad dudes in there, and it doesn't take a lot to actually change cities and, crime for it to increase. And so this is Haiti, okay? And so the gangs over there are nothing to mess around with, and they've been making a lot of threats, talking about coming up to the southern border and actually, taking action against our troops and against our border patrol. So something to pay attention to, okay? Because we've got I believe about 400,000 rolling through this month, and there ain't but 10 days left, and so it seems awfully quiet. So, and then the other piece too, if you remember, just about 2 weeks ago, we had it was the Director of National Security or DHS, and then the Director of I guess the Secretary of Defense flew down to Mexico City to meet with El Presidente down there, I guess, to talk about the cartel issues and the problems they're having. And then all of a sudden now we're getting gunshots fired at our National Guard on the border. So something to pay attention to, because this should not be taken lightly. When the cartel starts to engage, it does become a border war pretty quickly. And so I don't think we're going to take that lightly. And I'm sure we would probably return fire if our guys started getting hit. So this seems like somebody is definitely trying to agitate and stir the pot down on the border. So pay attention to that. All right. Then let's get over here. Just as we're talking about these, I just want to show you what's been going on. Now, Biggs seems to be our main hub in terms of the poppies coming inbound. Okay. For a while there, it was actually they were processing the bananas that were all coming in, but it is straight up poppy season. Okay. And so I just want to show you these flights. You've got these all day today. This one's arriving from Cherry Point. This one's coming out of Philly. This one's arriving out of New Hampshire, Portsmouth, and out of Indianapolis. And then we've got one that is, where is that? Scottsbluff. Okay. And then, of course, this is where they're taking folks. So they're bringing fresh poppies in, and they're rehoming these other ones, okay? And so you've got them going to Asheville, North Carolina. You've got them rolling into Fort Worth Alliance, San Antonio, Nellis, taking some folks out to Vegas, which is where Air Force 2 is right now. And so pay attention, because this is where they're bringing them in and rotating them out, all right? Now, if I just snap into the history so we can get kind of a bigger view over the last 2 weeks, I just want to show you all of the aircraft. Now, typically, the aircraft that are coming into Biggs don't have anything like these right here, these CNVs, things like that. Most of those aren't going to have any type of aircraft type, okay? And so when you see an aircraft type listed in that column, that is a commercial bird rolling into a military installation, okay? And so you can see these bad dudes are racked and stacked. That is a lot of people getting pulled in. I did see Guantanamo Bay here, which I thought was interesting right here. And again, these are arrivals coming in. So you've got somebody taking U.S. Transport Command coming in from Guantanamo on Saturday. That's very interesting. And there you have it. I'm just going to click on that just so we can kind of look at it real fast and see. So coming out of Guantanamo Bay back to this location. Now, typically, I would say these are going to be troops, but we may actually have some activity as we were thinking early on, reverse route, where we're actually putting people here on Guantanamo Bay, and so that could be it. We may be actually it may be stood up now, so we'll have to watch those. These are the flights at U.S. Transportation Command or Camber. These are the ones that they keep wiping the flights out. So if you don't catch them when they happen, you ain't going to catch them for the most part. And they don't really tell you exactly where they're going either. So, again, pay close attention to these guys, okay? All right, now that's Biggs. And as you saw, just a metric ton of people coming in and going out. And so that is now starting to hit on a rhythm and tempo, and everybody's getting in on it. And so those folks are being basically rehomed on your dime, okay? So we need to be paying close attention to that. Now, these are going to be the flights we looked at last week. I was pointing out when I came in on Friday evening that these guys were kind of on the move. Now, these are going to be your Dash 8s, which are going to be a spy bird, okay? And I just want to point out, this is El Paso right here. You can see them. This right here looks like touch and goes, running touch and goes. But then when they start getting out here and start doing circles, and these big circles out here, they're collecting data. They're spying on stuff. Okay, notice there's a major highway that runs through here, and that's where they're gathering data all the way up into the mountains and hills. All right. Okay. So don't know what's going on out there, but very interesting. All right. There's one of them. And of course, that was on the 15th, which is a couple days ago. Okay, and then this was the other one, Aloma 31, doing the same kind of thing, right? We saw it take off, but it looks like it was actually that to me. Those are touch and goes. Okay, we see that kind of going around and around the airport, and then it took off out here, and it did the same thing. Started running little circles and stuff up here. Okay, so they are certainly eyes on what's going on around in this general area, and probably for all the right reasons. So to me, that's reassuring that we see that taking shape, because they're probably not spying on us. They're spying on the new people coming into our country. Okay. All right. So there is that. Then we're going to look at Holloman, and I will tell you, this is also on the uptick. You can see we got them coming inbound direct from Philly now. I guess we are just flying direct flights into there and not going via Biggs. And then, of course, we got another bird. Let me just look at this one real fast, because this one's starting to run that circle. That's going to be in 632AX right here. Looks like it's coming in and out of the base. Actually, looks like it's several aircraft flying there. Probably doing some training. If I had to guess, those are probably trainers, but who knows? Who knows? But interesting, just data point, I guess. But this just gives you an idea. They're coming out of here they come in from Philly, drop off a load, pick up a load, and of course this one shows up at Fort Worth Alliance. So Texas, you are getting, especially North Texas, you're getting a fresh set of poppies, and they are bringing them in by the droves. Okay. All right, nothing on the scheduled departures. So let's get on over here to, this is the Transportation Command, or Camber. We were talking about them earlier. I just want to point out on the board again, no destination. So you don't really know where these guys are headed to. You just know where they are taking off out of. And as you can see, you got Iceland and lots of other, Guam, coming out of Guam. You got Dubai, Honolulu, and then let's see, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Those are all exit out, and that's Monday and Tuesday, and then Monday. So this is probably, it's kind of interesting. Oh, different across the date line. It's already changed over here, so that's why that Guam is. Okay, makes sense. Confused me there for a second, but we got unconfused together. All right. Okay, we'll move on. Let's get over here to Guantanamo Bay. This is one that we talk about quite a bit now. That we haven't had too much going on other than those camper flights coming and going that we don't really see because they're not on the boards. But this was actually a medical emergency bird, flew in out of Gwinnett County, and then it looked like it came in and departed, went back up to Jacksonville. So that just took place this morning. All right, and so I guess somebody had a medical emergency on base and rolled right out. All right. And then we'll look at the Guantanamo Bay birds. I just want to kind of get an eye on where they are, because every once in a while we get a little nugget in here. Looks like this one rolled out. This was today, landed 5 hours, 37 minutes ago. It took off out of Belgium and went over to Stuttgart, Germany. Again, those are agency birds, and that's why we pay attention to them. Okay. All right. And then N302AZ landed 38 minutes ago. Now, this bad dude was up in New York, and then it went over to Lebanon, New Hampshire. I point this out because we just also had, as you will probably see here in just a second, C202, which is the director or deputy director of Homeland Security, was also in New York. So you never know, man. It's these things all seem to work together. It's don't know who was on them, and just pointing it out, okay? But it looks like this bad dude was up in Chicago, then it went over to LaGuardia, and then from LaGuardia over to Hampshire. All right, and then it's Sistership 301AZ. It's up here in Connecticut, and of course, we know who is up there, all right? And roll back down to Lauderdale, okay? And so that'd be Durham up here, by the way, I was talking about, okay? Up in Connecticut. Now, let's see here. This is going to be C101, landed 2 days ago out in Sacramento. I'm pointing this out because I just want to show you guys. This is a helo that they just basically rolled over the C101 for this, because an aircraft isn't going to do this, especially, a G, whatever that is. Okay. Just not going to do it. All right. But look at this. Now, remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about this little island out here in this waterway, and I said it was really odd for Homeland Security to be out here you know, running routes and basically looking at this. Why is there an interest in this particular lake? I don't know. But it looks like they're at it again. Okay, this particular island, they get out here with this helo, and they're basically, I don't know, they're surveying or doing a little recon or looking. There's something out here that's got their interest, and they look at it on a regular basis. And you can see this bad dude. Now your green line's going to be altitude. All right, so they're pretty low. When I say low, this is 300, below 300 feet. Okay, and so this is, it's down there. Okay, and airspeed is a yellow line. All right, so. Just very interesting. Like I said, let's see if we can figure out where they are playing around here. Yeah. You can see it's got the helo icon with. Okay. Again, don't know what they're doing out there, but I don't know. Maybe you guys in California can tell exactly what's going on with that place. Right. Don't know what these boxes are. All right. Now, C202, this is going to be, I guess, the assistant director to Homeland Security, was up here in LaGuardia, New York. Remember, we were just talking about this other, now this landed 2 days ago, but they were in LaGuardia over to Washington, D.C. So something was going on up there in that neck of the woods, but I just want to point it out because it happened over the weekend, okay? All right, now let's look at the Sniffer. Last time we had talked, before I went on vacation, we actually had the Sniffer that was up here in Boston. My understanding was that was probably tied to the marathon, and they were just making sure there weren't any dirty bombs along the route, I guess. But then this one is actually took place right after that. It came down from Farmingdale, New Jersey, back down to the Brown Zone. But I just wanted to kind of point out that little route that they flew just out here on the coastline all the way down. Kind of an interesting route because I don't see any weather or anything related to that. So there is that. Again, that's a Sniffer, not Marine One. But anyway, you got that. Okay. Now, last thing before we get into the UFO stuff and start talking a little bit more in detail, wanted to just point out these are the Atlas Air flights that are active right now. Now, keep in mind, whenever we have a supply chain crisis like we currently have, and you got boats that are backed up, not getting into the ports, well, their alternate method is going to be air, fly by air. Okay. Then it starts getting really expensive, and you're going to see cost drivers going up because it is exponentially a higher cost than putting something on a slow boat, even though those container costs are going through the roof as well. And so just kind of wanted to point out how busy Atlas Air is right now. They are the largest 747 fleet in the world, at least they were. But you can see typically at this time of day, you don't really see a lot of Atlas Airs up, but that's just the United States. It looks like a lot of them are heading West Coast and over the drink. But look at the board right now. All Atlas Airs. That's a lot of flights. That is a lot of flights. Probably 2x what we normally see. Maybe 3. So very interesting. Okay. Okay, now we'll look over here at Skyglass real fast just to see. This is actually only military. Same thing we're looking at from the other perspective. I just want to pull it up. I'm going to get smart on this one pretty soon. But again, this is an open free beta. If you guys want to go out there, it's I think skyglass.com or .app or something along those lines. But just Google Skyglass app and it'll pull up. But it is free. It's a free beta, and so you guys can learn it along with me. But I'm really excited about this tool. This thing looks like it's going to be pretty slick once I figure it all out. All right. But anyway, there is the Skyglass and Wave of the Future. All right. Now, let's talk, as we're talking about cool stuff, I just want to break away from our normal and talk a little bit about UFOs and things of that nature. Now, I've mentioned before, I've been in aerospace and defense for 30 plus years, right? And so I've worked a lot of programs, and you're talking Lockheed and Skunk Works and things like that. So when I start getting a lot of email messages from people all around the world saying that they keep seeing the same descriptive thing. Now, these are all independent of each other. Nobody is following. I mean, the way it came in was very sporadic. But it's a triangular shaped object with lights on it. Almost all of them are describing the same thing. Now, I'm not going to show you the emails because I don't want to dox them, okay? But I've gotten them from Ontario, Canada. I've gotten them from North Texas. I've had them like all over the world. And so, but it's a lot like this. As you guys can see, this image is a triangle with these lights on the outer edges, okay? Not the beam. I don't know what's up with the beam, but it looks a lot like X-Files, right? But this is same shape. Okay. And then that last night I actually had very similar ones where this was on DFW scanner. They said they had 3 UFOs over Denton flying separately, then moving to a triangular pattern, repeated pattern. Okay. Over and over. So again, the exact same type. This is triangle with the lights. Okay. One of the things I just wanted to point out as we talk about this is that in that particular shape, if you ever look at the aircraft that are being flown or developed by a lot of these advanced programs, they all look like that, okay? More than likely, this particular aircraft that people are seeing is tied to one of our agencies or not, maybe not agency, well, maybe like DARPA or something along those lines. But these are a lot of aircraft that they have been developing over the years. It's the same body style and shape. If you look at everything that we've been developing ever since the 50s on these triangular aircraft, you got the F-117, for example, right? Look at that shape. Not saying that diamond shape was a F-117, but look at this drone, a refueling drone, same body style and shape. And then, of course, there's just all these different advanced programs we don't really have eyes on that are out there, right? And so, Trump alluded to it. You guys follow Jordan. He's pretty savvy on this stuff as well. But I guess what I'm saying is, a lot of what we're seeing out there in terms of these are going to be programs and aircraft that we have been developing in these advanced, black programs that fly. They're going to be anti-gravity. There's going to be a lot of different stuff. Now, where did we get the baseline for this stuff? I mean, you think about the F-117 that was developed, that thing started probably in the 50s, okay? That kind of technology and the shapes and things. So where it originated, I don't know. We definitely have gotten our hands on some things that are way ahead of our time. But a lot of those things, I think, are basically these programs that we see. We're just starting to see them now because they're starting to fly them a lot more. People are looking up a lot more these days, okay? But I will tell you this. If you notice that triangle shape, now look at the Space Force logo, okay? It's that same, triangle shape, just like the objects that we're seeing out there. Are they related? Probably, okay? If I had to guess, this stuff all ties together, okay? And I know Trump alluded to that stuff a long time ago, like there was going to be a big disclosure, and I don't think it ever happened. Now, here's another thing, too. They're silent, which tells me there's definitely some advanced technologies going on there, okay? I will tell you, I had one of these. It looked a lot like this. Zing over my house at about, 10, 15,000 foot. And it was going supersonic. It went across the entire sky in a matter of seconds, end to end, okay? And didn't make a peep, all right? So that technology is definitely out there. Whether they're manned or unmanned, I don't know. The one that I just showed, that was a drone, and that thing was, it just blew me away when I saw it. I was thinking, yeah, this is it. I mean, we got these, and they've had them out there for a while. So, but just pay attention to that stuff. Like I said, I only bring it up because I keep getting random emails, and they're all talking about the very exact same type of thing. And so, just want to point that out. Again, I'm not going down the slippery slope of aliens and do they exist and all that other stuff. I have my own opinion on that. Share that with you guys in the past, what I think they really are. But a lot of these objects that we see out there are definitely being developed and have been developed over the years by our, military industrial complex. Okay. And so, and I think that's part of why the Space Force was actually put into play. Okay. So there is that. I just wanted to share that with you because, like I said, I keep getting a lot of stuff on it. So All right, let me back up over here to our board again here and see if we've got anything kind of that has changed. I did see the Gitmo Bird rolling in and out of Florida today, so that was out there. But for the most part, it's kind of quiet this evening. So I think we're on the cusp of something big happening, though. I just can feel it. It's with the supply chain issues in particular. I think this is going to be some game changers coming in the near term. Okay. Let's see. Over Hawaii, looks like we got SW4, a little G5 that's out there, and then an H60 just landed. Actually, you see it go gray. That's on ground. And then let's just kind of look around the world real fast down here in Australia. See if they've got anything. Now, I do see some trainers, it looks like, that are up. You got C-130 out here, P-8. So that's going to be a Navy Bird headed out over the water. And that right there is one of your spy craft. Okay, so they are doing some spying, it looks like. Coming out of Australia doesn't surprise me. For those not familiar with this aircraft, this is kind of like our R-135. It's very similar, like our AWACS, really. It's got that little surfboard on the top there, it looks like. And interesting, you look at all these antennas. Thing's got a lot of technology for a very small plane. But yeah, that's kind of like I think it is along the lines of our AWACS, okay? But they do have the ability to look down and not just out and up, okay? So just like our Sentries, same stuff. Some spying on some folks, if I had to guess. And then what we have here, some B-350s also can be utilized as spycraft, but notice that was two different King Airs that I just showed. That picture there, and then other picture. So let's see what we got. There's one. Actually, that's the same aircraft. Okay. These are gonna be trainers right here for Australia. All right, and so this area is our watch area. Not a lot showing on the map. Well, actually, I take that back. So this is out by Japan. It looks like we got a P1, which I guess that is a Japanese version of our P8 or P3 sub chaser, and a refueler and a little BE-20. Looks like it's rolling in, and let's see what this other one is. And a little who that belongs to. Japanese Cessna 680. All right, that's kind of busy. We usually don't see too much going on over here, so I do think we do have some type of a military exercise going on over in Japan right now with them, a joint exercise. So this is gonna be your watch area right here. Yeah, again, that's probably gonna go hot here pretty soon. All right, get over to the Middle East. We do have a drone up currently. I did see some new airstrikes or rocket attacks coming into Israel today. They look like they're firing again. So we'll see how long that goes and if it lasts any longer than a couple days. This is gonna be your drone activity. Looks like that's just coming out of Cyprus and out over the water. Altitudes 2,900 feet, 5,700 knots, and not having a lot. That's actually run by the UK, which is interesting. Don't know what's out off the bottom there, but they're certainly doing some recon on something. Okay, all right. I think that, folks, is going to do it for this sit rep. Again, we're going to continue to watch the border, and if I get any more UFO reports, I'll definitely pass them along, and just we can talk about it a little bit. But interesting times, for sure, interesting times. So you guys stay frosty out there, and I'll be back on Wednesday. For those that want to catch me live, we will do the Q&A on Wednesday with Patreon folks after the sit rep. But I do all my live shows over on Patreon, and it's under Monkey Werx US. So if you want to see them live, that's where you got to catch them. All right, that's going to be it. You guys be safe out there. God bless. Key out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.